The Dark Tower is directed by Nicholas Arcel and stars Matthew McConaughey and Idris Elba, and is the story of Jake, a small boy from suburban America who keeps having vivid dreams about a dark tower being destroyed by children's minds, a man in black and a gunslinger. Now once Jake really gets fed up with having these dreams, it starts to affect his life. He decides to see if they really are dreams, and once he finds out that they're not, his main objective is to help the gunslinger stop the man in black from destroying the Dark Tower, thus destroying the universe. Now I'll be honest, I'm not hugely familiar with the Dark Tower series of books. I know it's a series of 8 books written by the infamous Stephen King, so I'm going to take this review a little differently since I've not read the books yet, because since watching this film I really want to get an in-depth backstory on this. So I'm going to take this now as a moviegoer and just describe to you what I thought about the movie and not compare it to the books, which a lot of reviews have. I'm just going to go on what I know about movies and what I think about them and go from there. What I will say is I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a great original story. Of course it's written by Stephen King, so you know that the story is going to be a good one. I really enjoyed the fact that the gunslinger is the only one of his kind left. He is a scared man essentially. He's just going around in the wilderness because it's where he just feels safest, and I really like his personal vendetta with the man in black. It's not just that whole cliche thing of he's trying to end the world, I'm here to destroy him because of that. It's a personal thing. I'm not going to explain it to you if you haven't seen the film or read the book. I will not tell you why he's got that vendetta, but it's totally different. It's not just a cliched thing, as I said, and I really enjoyed that. I think it's a really neat turn on storytelling. Speaking of the man in black, I really loved Matthew McConaughey's performance in this movie. He was intense. There was moments where he was making the heart beat out of its chest in me, especially with the scenes with Catherine Winnick. If you don't know who she is, she plays Lagertha in the hugely popular Viking series. She was not in this film for very long, but she had some really intense moments in this movie with Matthew McConaughey's character. I really liked him in this. He was a standout for me in this. Also, Idris Elba in this movie, of course, as the gunslinger. I really enjoyed him as well. What I would say about him though is sometimes he can be a little bit corny and a little bit too good at doing what he does, so you never really feel any sense of danger around his character because you just know he can deal with it. That is said a lot in Hollywood these days. If you've got a main character, you can guarantee not a lot's going to happen to them. It's going to look like a lot's going to happen to them. Unfortunately, that does happen a lot to his character in this movie. Other than that, his performance was actually pretty solid. I really enjoyed him in this. The performance I really loved in this movie is just, thank God, it's a child's performance that I didn't cringe at. Tom Taylor was amazing as Jake in this movie. He was, with McConaughey, the best performance in this movie. He was so mature in his acting that he had to convey pain, he had to convey confusion. He was a boy that hadn't slept. He was drawing on paper on the walls. He was being sent to shrinks by his parents because his mum and his stepdad just could not get why this small boy was going insane. But he plays it so maturely and with such belief in his character that you don't really expect that from someone who's not even 20 yet. It's so odd to see, yet it's so refreshing to not see a child actor that's not just clearly going to go insane in 10 years like Bynes or Culkin, you know, that kind of weird thing. I really hope that Tom Taylor's career really takes off after this movie and when he's older becomes a huge actor, because after this he's got to be in more. I really enjoyed him in this movie. Right, that's it. We're not going to keep sucking up to the movie anymore. I have got some bad points on this one. Ugh, I know. I didn't hate the movie, as I've said, but what I will say is that the runtime is frighteningly short. It's only 95 minutes long, this movie. Now, usually I don't complain about runtimes, but with this film, I really think it's its major issue and it's huge bugbear for me. Now what that runtime ruins is the story's narrative. Now I was really getting into some of these narrative spots in this movie. You'd go, yes, now what other part of his history, or what more exposition can you give me? But because obviously they're trying to cram all this movie into a 95-minute runtime, they get to a narrative and they chop it off. That really infuriated me. Now that means that I personally wouldn't have cared if this was a 3-hour Lord of the Rings epic, and I really mean that, because this story really needs those long winding narratives to get you into these characters. Now I did care about Jake, I did care about the gunslinger, and I really did want to know more about the pair of them, and especially I wanted to know more about the Man in Black. But you don't seem to get that much narrative on any of them. It just wants to take you to why the Dark Tower is of such significance. It's so frustrating because this movie could have been so much better, but it almost seems like they can't trust their audience to sit for 3 hours anymore. It almost seems like they have to cram it into 90 minutes because they don't think that you're going to sit there and deal with it. And it's just a huge mistrust on the audiences these days. Because I really think if the story's that good, we will sit there and watch it. Oh! Now the movie does set up for a sequel, so hopefully after my little rant there at the end, we do see a Dark Tower 2, because it needs it. It shouldn't just be left the way it is, because it's just not enough. I left wanting more because I feel they left out so much. I really do. Let's just hope that there's more. Need to see it. Need to see what happens, please. All these things being said, guys, all these silly rants I've done, I am going to give The Dark Tower a 3 out of 5. I really enjoyed the movie. I really did. It's just that runtime ruined it for me. I just could not get my head around it. That is my only reason behind it. Everyone else was fantastic. I really enjoyed the effort they put into it, but just give us more. That's all I ask. So there you have it, guys. That is my take on The Dark Tower. What did you guys think of it? What, more importantly, I'd love to hear from people who have read the books and seen the film. I'd love to know some comparisons before I read the book myself. And if you have seen the movie, please let me know what you thought of it. Thanks for watching, guys, as always. Don't forget to follow me on all the social networks. You guys know the drill, and I'll see you all on the next video.